We are going to continue with the examples we were working yesterday. Page 143, the same topic, analyze linear equations, y equal mx plus b. So in the example 2, we need to write a linear equation given its graph. A salt water solution is cooled to -6 Celsius degrees. During an experiment, the mixture is heated at a steady rate. Write an equation to represent the temperature Y after
Mr.
X minutes. Tell me.
Sorry, I interrupt. Dice Lorena que está tratando de entrar por otro dispositivo porque le está fallando el Wi-Fi.
Okay. If appears on the waiting room, I'm going to accept then. Okay. So in the graph, I'm going to show you the graph. You already have it on the book, but I want to solve it with you, okay? To obtain all the things we need. I want you to practice someday with this because I want to be sure that you are going to, okay, graph something if you need. Maybe you are going to need it in the other grades. In 9th grade, I'm sure that, okay. So I'm going to graph and you are going to see the how to obtain the slope and the y-intercept. That is what I'm doing in this kind of examples. I have the graph and using 2 points of this graph, I'm going to find the slope m and the y-intercept b. The first point we have is in -6 for y and is located in 0 for x. So the point we have is here, right? I'm going to place the point in here. And what is the other point I have? Is in 3 for the x. I'm going to write the name. I'm going to write the coordinates of these points. The first point we have is the y-intercept, right? This is the y-intercept. I'm going to explain you why. This is the y-intercept and the coordinates I have for the y-intercept are 0 for x and -6 for y. Remember, when we have one intercept, this is the point when where the graph is going to touch my axis, in this case the y-axis. So I'm going to represent this as the y-intercept, and the other variable is going to have a value of 0. So for example, if this is the y-intercept, you have one value for y, but in x, you are going to have 0. So this is the y-intercept, -6 in y and 0 for x. And for the other point we have, tell me.
Dice Lorena que ya está en la sala de espera, que si la puede aceptar, dice.
Okay, I'm going to see. Okay, I already accept her. Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
The other point we have in here is the 0 for y and 3 for x. So 3, 0. This is the point we have in here. Guys, but you can see something. This is the y-intercept, x is 0. If in this other point I have that y is 0, you can say that this is the x-intercept, but I don't need the x-intercept. That's the reason why I don't explain you, okay, how to obtain the x-intercept. At least in this kind of exercises, we are only going to use the intercept in y. So, but it's good for you to know about this, okay? So you don't get so lost. Now I'm going to use this to connect the point. I click on the first point and in the other one, okay? So this is the graph you have, right? And now I need to find the slope. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to erase. I need to find the slope. So I'm going to use text to write with you how to find the slope. The slope m is going to be what? M equal y divided by x, right? And what values are we going to use for this? You have 2 points. The first one is this, because the graph starts in here. This is the first point, and this is the second one, because the graph continues in here. So remember, I need to subtract the points in y, and I need to subtract the points in x. My 2 points, I only need 2 points. So the first value I'm going to take for the y, I'm going to show you m equal, and what values I'm going to take for the y? The first value is 0 for y, minus, what other value we have? Negative 6, right? Is this point we have in here, the negative 6 for y, minus negative 6. And this is going to be divided by the values of x. I'm going to do it in this way. I hope that you understand that this is the division. The slash is representing the division. Now I'm going to use the values for x. In x, the first value I have is 3. And the other value is 0. So I only subtract 3 minus 0. I solve this. M is equal 0. And I have 2 negatives. So negative times negative is going to be positive 6. Positive 6 divided by 3 minus 0, that is going to be positive 3. What is the answer when you divide 6 by 3? You are going to obtain that the slope is equal to. So this is what I have in here. All the steps to find the slope. Can you see it in here? Okay, the slope is 2. What other value we need to complete the equation? We need to find the y-intercept, but we already know what is the y-intercept. The y-intercept, I'm going to write the line in here.
The y-intercept is the initial point.
The y-intercept is negative 6, is what I have in here when my graph touches the line, when the graph touches the y-intercept. I'm going to use these facts to complete my equation. And what is my equation? Y is equal mx plus b. I already have these values. Y equal m. What is m? M is the slope. I already have the slope, that is 2, multiplied by x, plus the y-intercept, b. The y-intercept I already know, that is negative 6 is the value I have. So if it's negative, this is not going to be a plus, it's going to be a minus. Minus 6. This is the equation we have in here, right? Y equal mx plus b. So the equation y is equal to x minus 6. I only replace the values we obtain. A slope 2 and the negative 6 is the y-intercept. And in the graph you have represented the x is time and the y is temperature. But we don't need to find anything else. They don't give you any value to obtain, for example, to replace for x. If they give you some time, for example, 3 minutes, you are going to replace, or 5 minutes to replace with the value of x. But in this case, we don't have anything else to find. So it's enough if you find the equation, like in here, okay? So I'm going to make a pause in here and I'm going to ask you if you have one question or something like that. Now in the example 3, we need to graph a given linear equation. So they give you the equation and we need to graph this equation. I'm going to insert the text in here so we can see it better. The text is up here. You have in here the equation y equal mx plus b. The equation, they give you the values, y equal m, the slope is -4, multiplied by x plus b. The intercept b in this case is 3. So y is -4x plus 3. Okay. So using this equation, I need to find the graph. I need to graph using the equation. I'm going to move this because we are going to use the negative numbers. Okay. Guys, you already have the y-intercept, right? The y-intercept is +3. You know that b is the y-intercept. So we can graph this only watching this. The step 1, the y-intercept is 3, so plot the point at 0 for x, 3 for y. Remember, when one number is the intercept, the other variable is going to be 0. So this point is going to be 0 for x and 3 for y. This is the point I have in here. Okay, now for the slope, we can find something using the slope. I can show you in here. For the slope m, you have that m is equal what? -4, right? M is -4. But you know that m is like dividing y over x. So if m is -4, it's like you have -4 divided by 1. Yes, because if you divide by 1, it's not going to affect anything. And you are going to keep the same number, -4, and you divide by 1, you are going to keep the same number, -4 for the slope. So using this, I'm going to show you in here how to place the other point. If you have that the slope, I'm going to move this only to have more space. You already know that this is the slope. And I'm going to place the other point using this. You have -4 for x because you are going down. Remember, you need to go down in here. You have negative the slope, so you need to go down. You are not going to increase anything if you are with the negative slope. So you are going in this direction, okay? In this direction. And if the negative is for the y, you move 4 units. You have -4, you have to move 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4. I move until the -1 in here. Until the -1 because of the negative y. And I'm going to move how many units to the right? To the positives. Only 1 unit because the x is 1, +1. So I'm going to place the point in here. I'm going to place the point in here. And now I can connect to obtain the graph. Using this, I touch the first point and I touch the second one. But I think the book showed you the complete graph, so I can do the same again. I touch the first one and I touch the second one and you have the graph completed, okay? This is for this graph, okay? You already know how to find the slope and you already know how the, what is the y-intercept, where to find the y-intercept, okay? So when we have the 2 points located, we can pass the graph. We can connect with the graph. Remember, we only need 2 points to graph something. We only need 2 points to find the slope. So if you have the slope and if you have the y-intercept, you can graph, okay? If they give you this, you can make the graph.
Mister, y en un caso como en el del try it de la letra B, que el slope es una fracción.
If it's the slope is one fraction, 1/3, you can convert this into a decimal, or even you don't know to convert this. You don't need to convert this in decimal, because what number is on the top? Y, right? So y is going to be 1. And what number is on the bottom? X. Remember the formula, y/x. So if in the bottom I have 3, I have to move, for example, okay, the slope, I'm going to move this one. Maybe I can show you for the other one. Okay, I think that we are going to take the 5 minutes, guys. So I'm going to update this. So I'm going to have a blank space again to start the last one. I think that this is interesting. Anthony asked very interesting questions. This could be a very tricky because only we have fraction, because we have a fraction, but only for that. It's the same when we graph this. I'm going to move it. So you can have, in this case, like the example we have. Okay, now I place the points. You have the y-intercept is -5, right? So the y-intercept is going to be located in here. I'm going to write the fractions because I feel weird to place the points and don't to show you what is the equation. So the y equal 1/3 x. This is -5. This is the equation you have in here. So the -5 is going to be the y-intercept, and the 1/3 is the slope. But what we have with the slope m is going to be equal 1/3. But you already know that the slope m is y/x, right? So 1 is going to be the value of y, and 3 is going to be the value of x. So I move 1 unit up because the 1 is positive. So I move 1 unit in here, and I move 3 units to the right because I have 3 units in x. So I have 1, 2, 3. The point is going to be placed in here. So you place the point, and you can graph now. Using this, you take the first point, the second one, and you connect, okay? You are going to have something like this. In this is other point. Look that it touches my x-axis in this point, in 15. So the x-intercept could be 15,0 because we have 0 in y. Okay, again, we don't need the x-intercept, but I told you so you could be prepared when we need it. So this is the graph you need. We can complete this to the other side if you want. So you can see the graph complete. I take this and the other one. So you have something like this. I'm going to show you if I move this. What we have is something like this for the graph.
Mister, excuse me, but Lucia says that her internet connection failed, so she exited the class.
Okay, and we are going to finish now. I hope that I help you, Anthony, to understand this, and for all of you. So you only complete this using the graph and you have everything, okay? Have a nice day, guys. I'm going to finish this in here. And okay, take care. I'm going to see you tomorrow.
Adiós, Mister.
And finish the pages. Remember about the pages. Bye, guys.